Hi and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave and this is episode 1640B and today's date is August 16th, 2018 and the title of the episode is Deep Down the Rabbit Hole. It goes a lot deeper than you think. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now we can see the deep state, they are really now backed into a corner. Brennan is out there screaming and yelling about his security clearance. We know that there are many others after him where they're looking at their security clearance. We know Strzok was fired. Most likely Bruce Orr is next. And we've always had this individual, this special agent that was unknown who dealt with all this, with Michael Flynn, with the 302s, changing it. And things like that. We know Comey, we know Peter Strzok, we know McCabe, we know all these different names, but there was always one special agent that was unknown. And from Chuck Grassley's letter that he wrote in, I think it was May 11th, 2018, he kind of let it out who this individual might be. And if we look at this, we can see from his letter, I'm going to read part of his letter right now. The department has withheld the Flynn-related documents since our initial bipartisan request last year, citing an ongoing criminal investigation. With Flynn's plea, the investigation appears concluded. Additionally, while we are aware that the special counsel's office has moved to delay Lieutenant General Flynn's sentencing on several occasions, we presume that all related records already have been provided to the defense pursuant to Judge Sullivan's February 16, 2018 order, requiring production of all potentially exculpatory material. The committee's oversight interest in the underlying documents requested more than a year ago now outweighs any legitimate executive branch interest in withholding it. So does the committee's interest in learning the FBI's agents' actual assessment of their interview of Lieutenant General Flynn, particularly given the apparent contradiction between what then Director Comey told us in March 2017 and what he now claims. Now here comes the hammer. In addition, please make Special Agent Joe Pientka, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, available for a transcribed interview with committee staff no later than 1 week following the production of the requested documents. It looks like this might be the unknown agent, and this individual might be part of all of this. So we'll have to see how this all plays out later on as more information comes out. Now, the UK is out there, and they're pushing the idea that there was an intercept between Russia and 6 Su-24 bombers over the Black Sea. Now, Russia has denied the British claims that the Royal Air Force intercepted 6 Russian military jets over the Black Sea, saying the incident was a lot less dramatic and didn't feature a single Su-24 bomber mentioned in the report. 4 aircraft from the Russian Black Sea Fleet Naval Aviation Group carried out routine exercises above the Black Sea on Monday. After completing their flight task in the assigned area, the Russian planes spotted a military aircraft of one of the NATO countries at the distance of 30 kilometers. The NATO plane didn't make any maneuvers, didn't deviate from its course, and didn't approach the Russian aircraft, which was heading back to base. Meanwhile, the British account of Monday's events looked more like a script from Top Gun, where they said, they intercepted, and it was 6 Russian Su-24 bombers close to NATO airspace over the Black Sea, and it was a close call. And Russia saying this didn't happen at all. And we know that just like the U.S., all the other countries, they use propaganda on the people to convince them that these things are actually happening when they're really not. We see Turkey right now. It looks like they might be moving away from the U.S. dollar. And we're seeing that they're having many, many problems. The U.S. is placing sanctions on them for the release of a pastor, and there's tariffs being applied to Turkey. And it looks like Russia right now and Turkey might be dealing with the ruble and the lira, and they might bypass the dollar altogether. Now remember, Russia did make this announcement where they said each country should use their own national currencies and go outside of the dollar. Remember, the dollar is an instrument of debt. It's an instrument that is used by the deep state and the central banking system to control governments. And it looks like with Russia and China and many other countries, they're moving away from this instrument of being controlled by a central bank and a deep state. This is all about destroying the dollar, getting rid of this. Because once you get rid of that, you get rid of the deep state. They get rid of their funding. We see an Egyptian brokered ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has gone into effect in the Gaza Strip. Now, Israel is saying that this isn't a real deal. We didn't broker anything. And they're saying, yes, it is a real deal. And Israel's saying that we want the soldiers returned to us. And once that is done, then it's a real deal. But as we can see, it looks like it is a real deal. And Israel is just out there saying that it isn't. They opened the Kerem Shalom crossing to commercial goods. They allowed the Gazans up to 9 nautical miles now to fish. Actually, under the Oslo Accord, they really have 20 miles of fishing, but they reduced it, I think, down to 3 miles. Now they're allowing them up to 9 nautical miles. So it looks like they're giving, and this peace deal is going into effect, and hopefully there's more peace about to happen. Now we know that the White House is going to be coming out with their peace deal for Israel and Palestine, and right now they're already saying that Israel and Palestine, they're not going to like this one bit, but we'll have to see how that all turns out. We see that the Syrian army right now, they are building their armed forces for a major offense in Idlib. It's about 25,000 military personnel that are going to be used in this offensive against the paid mercenaries. And we can see already that about 650 Idlib militants, they've already surrendered. And this is going to be a no-brainer. I think the Syrian army with the Russian forces, they're going to go and sweep right through this. And the militants, they have no hope whatsoever. And everything is about to change. And we can see it changing because we already have Pompeo out there. He's going to be meeting the UN envoy for Syria. What are they going to be talking about? Well, they're going to be talking about the need to move ahead on a political track. And it looks like they're making arrangements for a political discussion. They're making arrangements of rebuilding. They're making arrangements for pretty much everything that comes after the war. So we already see that we're heading down this path, and we're going to see great things happen once all this settles down and the paid mercenaries, the deep state forces, are completely out of Syria. It is all happening, and pretty soon, as you can see, they are going to be making an announcement that the troops are going to come out of Syria. They're going to come home, and they're going to be removed from many of the other countries. Yes, it is all happening. Now, I just want to go back to post 1871 from Q, and we're going to be going down a lot of the Q posts. This was from August 14th, and we were talking about MOS on top, and it was like a little grid where it says all U.S. media, U.S. politicians, and there was a lot of dots, and it says 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. Well, a lot of people have been emailing me saying that this is not Mossad. They're saying MOS really stands for Media Object Server Communications Protocol. Now, once again, is this verified? No, but it does make sense, and it has the word MOS in all capital letters. And what this is, it's an evolving protocol for communications between newsroom computer systems, NCS, and media object servers, MOS, such as video servers, audio servers, still stores, character generators. This protocol is supported and developed through cooperative collaboration among equipment vendors, software vendors, and end users. The goal is to develop and maintain a common communication protocol which allows integration of diverse NCS and MOS equipment. So it might be this, it might not be Mossad. So we'll have to wait for confirmation, but this seems like something that they might be talking about because it has to do with news and sending the news down to the U.S. media and to the U.S. politicians and things like that. So this does make sense. And I want to follow up on post 1878, where we had that news story about this compound in New Mexico. And what's very interesting about all of this is post 1878. And Q told us, to look at the Judge Sarah Backus, what was going on there. He said, Q said, sick and disgusting. And one of the adults arrested for child abuse at the makeshift compound in the desert in New Mexico has been transferred to custody of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. And this was Janie LaVille, also called Miriam LaVille. Now, the question was, why were they doing this? Well, we come to find out that LaVille comes from Haiti and is an illegal immigrant here in the United States. Judge Sarah Backus allowed the defendants to be released on $20,000 bail on August 13th. And basically, this has connections to higher ups. What's even more interesting is that this individual, Janie LaVelle or Miriam LaVelle, she appeared on CNN. And they visited CNN. Why didn't they use the photo at the time, saying that we knew this person, we knew exactly who it is? They didn't do any of that, which is kind of strange. All right, let's move on to post 1884, August 15th. This is where we said Saudi Arabia access closed, Epstein Island access closed. Well, there was a spelling mistake in Russia, R-U-S-S-A. And it said access closed, which is very interesting. Well, it looks like it might have been a confirmation because Trump was tweeting out, "We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great." Now, the first line that he wrote, "going," is missing the I. So this might be a confirmation that Q is letting us know that, yes, everything that we're saying is true. Trump then went ahead and corrected the misspelling of this word. Now we're going to be moving on to post 1885. And this is August 15th. Q put up a link. Trump revokes security clearance for former CIA Director John Brennan. We talked about this yesterday. We know that it was removed. But what's very interesting about this, the link refers to a Fox News story, explaining how John Brennan's security clearance was removed. But Sarah Sanders was speaking, and she also mentioned that other individuals are being looked at right now. And we mentioned this yesterday too. James Clapper, James Comey, Michael Hayden, Sally Yates, and the rest. So we can see we're on the right track here, and most likely we're going to hear these individuals, well, their security clearance is being removed for each and every one of them. Post 1886, Q posted, "For now, we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known." Corinthians 13:4-13. And went on to say, "Finally, be strong in the Lord and his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's scheme. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to start your ground. And after you have done everything to stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all of this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all the saints." Now, it looks like he just put up a quote from the Bible, and really I don't see anything else in there. And we're going to be moving on to post 1887, August 15th. Q put up a link from Sarah Carter. She tweeted, "The report found that Al-Qaeda is still a global network showing resilience and is stronger than the Islamic State in places like Somalia, Yemen, South Asia." Now, this is very interesting. Q put below this, "Has intel been shared with our enemies in an effort to warn them against capture-kill? How long did it take to locate, kill bin Laden? How many times did we locate bin Laden in the past and stand down orders were given? Why did the White House put itself in the middle of every op? Why did POTUS immediately remove the White House from the chain of command military engagement equation? How has POTUS been able to essentially destroy the Islamic State within the first year of his presidency, but Hussein could not throughout entire term? What is JB's background? Muslim by faith. What is Hussein's background? Muslim by faith. What is VJ's background? Muslim by faith." And just let you know, JB is John Brennan. To let you know, Hussein is Barack Obama. And VJ is Valerie Jarrett. Just to clear that up. Then he put up Q put up a link, Podesta emails. Why was the Hussein admin breaking down admin by faith? Why was the public sheltered Islamic State for so long? Why was Al-Qaeda deemed the primary adversary versus the Islamic State? Do you believe U.S. intel did not know bin Laden's son was a prominent figure in Al-Qaeda? If known, no live intel or geo-targeting to target. Define CIA regional assets, Operation Cyclone, Mujahideen, Afghanistan, aiding anti-Soviet resistance, withdrawal of Soviet troops, control of $800 million plus, control of weapons, control of training, Afghan Arabs, Haqqani, Hekmatar, bin Laden critical allies, dark to light, Q. So basically, the Islamic State is beaten, and the corporate media, the mainstream media, the intelligence agencies are trying to say that Al-Qaeda is trying to resurface. Think the deep state has anything to do with their sudden reappearance? And you better believe our government was infiltrated by the Muslim Brotherhood. And as you can see, Q has said this many, many times. The White House under Hussein protected the Muslim terror groups across the globe, effectively sabotaging the efforts of patriots around the world. That alone is traitorous. How many soldiers have we lost who willingly sacrificed themselves for American ideals and the American people, only to have their sacrifice spat upon by these deep state fiends? The Islamic State has been almost eradicated within a year. Russia, don't forget, also helped. They're the ones who started it while Obama was president. Obama allowed them to grow. We talked about this many, many times in the X22 reports. So we see right now that there was a reason why Obama was doing this, and we know the reasons. Now, what's very interesting is when you look at the link that Q provided, it's a WikiLeaks email about Asian American candidates, Muslim American candidates, and within this email there's attachments, and within the attachments there are different individuals. Valeh Nassar, an Iranian American, 48 years old, possible State Department role. He's an Iranian American academic and scholar. And when you look at this, you can see there's many other names. Representative Andre Carson, State Senator Larry Shaw, Representative Keith Ellison. Now, Keith Ellison has been in the news lately because he's come under some serious abuse and assault allegations. And we see another name, Reza Aslan, a relatively young Iranian American Shiite, is an internationally acclaimed writer and scholar of religion. He is a fellow at the University of Southern California Center of Public Diplomacy and Middle East analyst for CBS News. Now, Annan was doing some research, and mentioned the word cannibal, and people went off on it, and they started to connect the dots here. And CNN ran a story about this individual where he was out with a tribe and basically was with cannibals and was eating the flesh of a person. And this was on CNN. And it looks like CNN might have been projecting out there that this is an okay thing, because what this Anon is saying is that Reza Aslan is a cannibal himself, and that's what they're trying to get across here. Post 1888, August 15th. Anonymous, Gmail drafts have them terrified. Q team, you sent shockwaves to the netherworld. Q wrote, did they ask Kumbeta for advice? These people are stupid. Put up a link. And the link is computer specialists who deleted Clinton emails may have asked Reddit for tips. And then Q went on to say, Oprah show, you get to go to jail, 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 you all get to go to jail. Q. Now, Paul Kumbeta solicited free advice regarding Clinton's private email server from users on Reddit, it's a very popular web forum, and asked people how to do this. Now, this is very stupid because he just put it out there that he wanted to delete the emails. And guess what? They have it all. Oprah Winfrey, not sure why Q is mentioning Oprah Winfrey, but there is one thing about Oprah, is that she has an island in the Seattle area, Orca's Island Estate. She owns that island. It is near all the other islands, Speeden Island. It's near Allen Island, Orca's Island. So she owns that. She has an estate there. Maybe that's why Q is mentioning that. So it's about a bunch of billionaires who own islands all around this area. Post 1889, Sarah Carter put up a link. Exclusive Steele anxious over Comey testimony, hopes firewalls will hold. And Q put into quotes, firewall. Now, Steele writes to Orr, hi, and he put this in a text, hi, just wondering if you had any news. Obviously, you're a bit apprehensive given scheduled appearance at Congress on Monday, hoping that important firewalls will hold. Many thanks. Orr writes back later that day saying, sorry, no new news. I believe my earlier information is still accurate. I will let you know immediately if there is any change. So it looks like they were discussing something about a firewall. And is it still in place? So post 1890, August 15th, Q put up the same link, firewall Q, and then added something below that and said logical thinking. So this is what was below it. Narrative shift, nation on alert, firing Rod Rosenstein equals block Mueller, firing Rod Rosenstein equals setup to firing Mueller, firing Rod Rosenstein equals red line. What was the Senate confirmation vote for Rod Rosenstein? And we talked about this before. It was pretty darn high. Why did Rod Rosenstein block the FISA memo from congressional review? Further advancement. Real time, 7 congressional members, 3 senators, 2 former O senior officials, 4 outside contractors, no CTOP sensitive level clearance. Top security clearance is mandatory for admission. How is that possible? We see you, Q. Then there's an American flag, and then another Anon put down in this entire block. JC tweet translation. Special Agent Andrew McCabe stood tall over the last 8 months. Do not talk. When small people, sheep, were trying to tear down an institution we all depend on cover. He served with distinction for 2 decades. We own you and your family. I wish Andy well, 187. I also wish to continue strength for the rest of the FBI. General threat to others. America needs you. Active sleeper cells. Q. And then the next block is Apache Q. Looks like they were worried that Rosenstein would be taken out and unable to cover for them. Was he the firewall? Maybe. Because if we look, Rod Rosenstein was brought on by the White Hats as the man in the middle to ensure that the information was not released to Congress so that it would not negatively impact the already ongoing investigations and prosecution that was being done under the radar. So let's move on to post 1891. Text emails, Gmail drafts, Gmail, ham communications, PS Xbox chat logs, JCBOCSLL number 2, NOSY, bonus round. Now, this is kind of funny because it looks like they used PlayStation, Xbox, microphone headsets to talk to each other and send messages. And this is James Comey, JC, Barack Obama, BO, Chuck Schumer, CS, LL is Loretta Lynch, AM is Andrew McCabe, NO is Nellie Orr, SY is Sally Yates. So it looks like they have all the information from everything that they were doing on PlayStation and Xbox. They have the chat logs. They have whatever they put into there. They have the text. They have the emails. They have everything. Post 1892. Put up a link from The Guardian. CIA admits spying Senate staffers. Q said, never forget Black Ops against USA. Total takeover of our country. What no agency leaked the data. Traitors all. No such agency, NSA, leaked this. John Brennan issues apology after acknowledging that the agency spied on Senate Intelligence Committee staff members. The article says the director of the Central Intelligence Agency, John Brennan, issued an extraordinary apology to leaders of the U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee on Thursday, conceding that the agency employees spied on committee staff and reversing months of furious and public denials. Brennan acknowledged that an internal investigation had found agency security personnel transgressed a firewall setup on a CIA network. Now, we know that he didn't apologize. Actually, he was trying to explain away why they got caught. And if you listen to the rest of the apology, if I did something wrong, Brennan continued on March, I will go to the president and I will explain to him exactly what I did and what the findings were. And he is the one who can ask me to stay or go. And we can see right now he wasn't really apologizing at this point. He was just covering for himself. Post 1893. An anonymous put up NBC, looks like crap on top of NBC, and it says nothing but crap. Put up the NBC logo, nothing but crap. Under it, Jeff Zucker, NBC, CNN, heart surgery, 10-year issue, Fox News, pure propaganda, in the line of fire. And Trump has a particularly interesting relationship with Zucker because if you remember, Zucker was the one who originally commissioned The Apprentice. Now you gotta wonder just what Trump knows about him. I mean, whatever it is, clearly it's motivating the tone of the coverage over at CNN. Remember, Zucker managed NBC before moving on to CNN, so Trump has to know where the bodies are buried. And Zucker does not have a heart problem. With all that in mind, Q referenced the Clint Eastwood film In the Line of Fire. And in this description of In the Line of Fire, it says, the film is about a delusioned and obsessed former CIA agent who attempts to assassinate the President of the United States and the Secret Service agent who tracks him. And then it goes on to say that this landlady in the apartment finds, something going on in a certain apartment. They go in to look, and there are magazines and a time cover with the president's head circled. And maybe this is why he's saying this. Is Q implicating Zucker in a presidential assassination plot? Maybe. Post 1894. Now we're going to be getting into some deep stuff here. A lot deeper than many might think. And I'm not talking about, blood and pictures like that. I'm talking about the subject matter. So this is about children. This is about human trafficking. This is about what these individuals do and where certain paintings come from and where all of this was taking place. So you can make the decision if you want to continue. If not, you can end it right here. We're going to be moving on to post 1894. This is August 15th. Jeff Zucker, NBC, CNN, heart surgery. Basically, Q just mentions the whole thing. Down below puts a picture of a woman with two boys, and above her is this strange thing and says normal ? This is actually a picture of Gloria Vanderbilt and her son, Anderson Cooper. Gloria Vanderbilt is the mother of Anderson Cooper. And we know that Anderson Cooper spent a lot of time with the clowns, or he's associated with the clowns to this day. But the relevant section here is that object above her. And when you look at it very closely, it's a woman. She has like an evil look on her face. And an anon came up and said, "Oh, I've seen this before. This is actually Our Lady of Solitude." And it looks very similar to that, but on the one above Gloria Vanderbilt, the woman's face is more evil than anything else. So Q is asking, is this normal? But you may be wondering who the other boy is next to Anderson Cooper. That's his brother, Carter Cooper. Now, he committed suicide at age 23 by jumping from his mother's 14-story Manhattan penthouse. It was a suicide. We're going to be moving on to post 1895, August 15th. Anonymous. No, that is nowhere near normal. The picture above her is evil. Q wrote, symbolism will be their downfall. Focus on her necklace. Bottom charm has significant meaning. Find the match. Red shoes, Q. So basically, Q put up in post 1896 a picture, and below the boy's hand, there is an object there. And Q actually says below hand, Q. Post 1897. Q put up there below hand, Q. And below it says, find the matches, open source. They never thought they'd be hunted. Now, this is a major revelation coming up. Post 1898. Anonymous put up a small little picture with that little necklace on there and said, all right, Anons, we need to find all matches for this charm. Q wrote, compare pool of VW paintings with kids in pool, red shoes, Q. Now, the V is Vanderbilt, and Q is saying compare this to the paintings that Podesta has in his art collection. And this is a painting of boys and girls. Their hands are bruised. They're all wearing red shoes. Behind them is tile. They're sitting on a bench. There are other pictures of boys and girls, and their backside is facing us. Their feet are red. Their hands are red. They look sad, and it's on tile floors. And all these paintings were composed by an artist, and this artist's name was Biana Djurjevic. And yes, there are a lot of these paintings. And Q is telling us to compare these paintings to the Vanderbilt pool. Post 1899. Q put back up, compare pool with Vanderbilt with painting of kids in pool, red shoes, Q. Podesta art, coming from Anonymous. Q says, cross against Podesta, travel to Rome, review 2015-2016 pics, inside only, Q. So Q's timeline specified 2015 to 2016, but it should be noted that Obama sent Podesta as early as 2014. So Obama sent Special Advisor John Podesta out to Rome. So this is very interesting. So post 1900, August 15th, Anonymous put up a picture of the Vanderbilt pool. And when you look at it, it doesn't look like a normal pool. It's indoors. A wooden ladder that goes all the way to the bottom. Ropes hanging off on one side. And there's a balcony that wraps around to the front with plants in the front and kind of a podium. And when you look at this, you need to understand what this is. Now, this pool is in the Biltmore Estate, built in North Carolina by Vanderbilt, George Washington Vanderbilt. When we look at this, we start to wonder what this is. Now, what we've learned from Fritz Springmeier, the Vanderbilts are an Illuminati legacy family with direct ties to the Collins line, one of the 13 Illuminati bloodlines. So when you hear CNN and the CNN opposition to Trump, you start to get a clearer picture. Remember, Anderson Cooper is a Vanderbilt. So post-1901, Anonymous puts up the children in the picture and compares it to the pool of the Biltmore estates which the Vanderbilt built. And if you look at the tiles, you look at the ropes, it looks very similar to the pool. And the Anonymous, the Anon says this, and Q wrote, confirmed. What do you notice? Q, that this isn't a normal swimming pool, number one. This is a slaughterhouse. The other things that the Anon notice is that the ropes along the sides of the pool have red stains. Lights on the bottom of the pool, why? Stairs leading from an altar stage podium to the bottom of the pool. Same tile pattern as Podesta art piece. And then you say, well, wait a minute. Were these paintings created from the imagination of the artist? Or was the artist painting real life? Post-1902. Q wrote, confirmed. What do you notice? Q. Compare and contrast. 1 = 1. Location of painting confirmed. Travel to Rome. Charms are very important. So this was not a painting from an artist's imagination. This was something that the artist witnessed in real life. And notice the red shoes. The children are wearing red shoes. Notice the hands. They're bruised. They're red. And the connection Q wants us to make is that the clergymen in Rome, the Pope, they wear red shoes. Tony Podesta once requested that everyone wear red shoes to his birthday party. And Q looks like he's trying to make, or he, she, the group of Q, is trying to make this connection to what you see in the paintings, to the pool, to what these people are doing, because they're doing the same thing that's in the pool and the paintings. So remember that necklace that Q was telling us about to search and was below the hand of the child? Well, an Anon came back with something about the necklace and posted it on post-1904. And it reads, Guatemalan silver charm necklace, 1980s long wedding necklace with Milagros metal beads, Cowgirl Southwest. And the description goes on and on and on. So we know that this necklace is from Guatemala. And another Anon starts to put things together where on the necklace it's not peacocks, I think it's quetzals, a very important bird in Guatemala, and started to look at different things, links it to Vanderbilt. Grandpa founded Pan Am, and all of a sudden the Anon makes connections that Pan Am was supporting human trafficking back in the day. So you have a family deep affiliated with the clowns, and who back in the day was associated with clown drug running. And do you remember the fire in a Guatemalan orphanage? At least 22 girls have been killed in a fire at a government-run home for abused teens, which broke out when residents set mattresses ablaze after an overnight riot and attempt to escape from the overcrowded government-run center. So the conclusion from all of this is that the Vanderbilts ran trafficking out of Guatemala. Anderson Cooper is part of CNN. This is why CNN is pushing so hard against Trump, because they don't want any of this to come out. And once it does, they're doomed. So we can see everything that we thought was happening is happening, and we're getting a little bit each time. We're going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole, and we can see that all this truth, it is about to come out big time. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.